So we got one more now.
One
more before we wrap up here on Unbuttoned on your top 40 quarterbacks list.
Yep.
And this is newly revealed, has not been released anywhere before.
I only hear on Unbuttoned.
Not even to Florio. You kept this one for us.
Yep.
And number 28 on your list is
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
Washington Redskins. Yes, Case Keenum, the career journeyman. You know, the guy that I'll say right off the bat doesn't really get the credit he deserves for the talent he has. You know, I think a little bit people just look at him, oh, he's Case Keenum. He's Case Keenum.
Undrafted free agent out of Houston in
Right.
2012.
There's never, and I feel like never been able to get rid of that stigma a little bit. But one thing is this. Stronger arm than people realize. I've seen him in person, and of course I watch everything on film. But when I saw him in person, it jumped out to me even more. Just in pregame warm-ups, I remember watching Case Keenum and going, damn, ball pops out of his hand. That's pretty quick release. Can really spin it. Do those things. So he's got a bigger arm than people give him credit for. He's a good athlete too. I mean, he's, showed it really, especially 2 years ago, and showed it last year with the Denver Broncos too, that he is capable of escaping the pocket, making throws, extending plays that way, scrambling for first downs. I know last year wasn't perfect with the Denver Broncos. I think there was a lot of good. I don't think it was a great team around him. I don't think it was a great offensive line. Not necessarily one of the best running games. But, really, Case Keenum, he could have set himself up to be higher in this ranking if it weren't for last year a little bit. Coming off of 22 touchdowns and 7 interceptions and being in the NFC Championship game for the Minnesota Vikings.
That 2017 year was special.
It was special. I mean, he did a lot of great things that year, too. And, of course, he had a team around him. But most good quarterbacks do, or most good teams do. I mean, that's part of it. And he took advantage of that. But it wasn't just system football always. Case Keenum, go back and look at that year. He made some plays, like some plays that there was nothing there to be had, and his arm or his ability to dance around the pocket and make something happen made the offense go in certain situations, and I put value to that. So I think he's a little underappreciated.
Sure.
I do look at it that way. And last year, just if there was more negative about last year, I think he misevaluated his own team to a degree. I think there were some games where he should have just gone, you know what, we're going to have to win this one 19-16 this week. And instead, he was kind of playing a style of football like, oh, I got to score 35. And he was a little careless with the football in some games that were tight. And, maybe they could have won a close one, and he made a few bad decisions at the end of the first half or whatever it may be to put them in a tough spot to have to play a style of football that they weren't built to play for.
Sure.
So I like Case Keenum. It'll be interesting to see whether he can hold off Dwayne Haskins this year.
Well, that's the story out of there. You got Dwayne Haskins, you got Colt McCoy, and you got Case Keenum.
Right.
And, you figure, I don't know if you keep all three of them. I mean, it seems like you might want to deal one of those for a different piece.
No doubt.
You don't need a third
Colt
stringer
McCoy would be the guy I would look at to go, that could be the odd guy out if he shows he's healthy. Yeah, well, Case Keenum, a little more of a proven commodity.
Yeah.
Of course, has played more than Colt McCoy the last year. Doesn't have the injury history.
Will this preseason be kind of a battle between Colt McCoy and Case Keenum? One of those guys gets shipped out?
I think so. I mean, I think either, very rare to keep 3 guys on the quarterback position on an active roster, right, this day and age. The other thing, if they all played really well, I think Colt McCoy could be trade bait for a team that maybe goes, man, we don't have a good backup.
That would make more sense because it's strange to sign a guy like Case Keenum in the offseason and then trade him before you even start.
Yeah, that's why I don't think so. I don't think so either, right? They're a little more invested that way into him, but they have a good problem to have. And again, Case Keenum, I think he's a guy that in Washington, a system that fits him, the West Coast offense, I think that'll be good for him. But the Redskins, if they can stay healthy, their O-line's pretty good. Their receivers got some, unproven commodities.
Right.
But I would not be shocked if we were sitting here week 10, you and I, and we're going, hey, guess what? The Redskins are pretty good, and Case Keenum's playing pretty good. I'm going to go, because Case Keenum's pretty good. He's not like a superstar. I don't think he's ever going to be one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football. But I think when he really reaches his ceiling and plays at his absolute best, he is one of the 20 best quarterbacks in football if he put together like a great year.
It will be fascinating to see how Dwayne Haskins incorporates with Colt McCoy and with Case Keenum. And we may be able to see it because Washington is one of those 5 teams that cannot say no
to Hard Knocks
right. HBO, which we have. Normally we know by now.
I didn't realize we were so late. I know. I didn't realize it.
We should find out in the next couple of weeks.
Nobody wants to do it, apparently.
The teams, no one ever wants to do it.
No, you're right. Nobody ever wants to do it.
But there are 5 teams that can't say no, and those are this year Washington, the Raiders, Giants, Lions, and 49ers. Now, there are reports that the 49ers apparently are not doing it.
Well, I
don't know
mean,
if you have inside information there.
No,
They can't say no, but
no, I have no inside information. All I know is the NFL is absolutely insane if they don't pick the Oakland Raiders.
Yes.
I cannot think of a team really in modern history that's more suited for the show and would make me, a guy who does not turn it onto the show, I don't either. I don't turn it on consistently. I mean, first of all, I've been to enough training camps, and I know what's being said, and I'm just not that intrigued by all of it all the time. But damn, the Oakland Raiders, even for a guy like me, would be one where I'd be like, okay, let me see what Psycho John is telling Derek Carr today. And
Antonio Brown,
exactly
Vontez
right.
Perfect, Richie Incognito,
right.
their last season in Oakland. I mean,
Mike
how do you not?
Exactly
how do you
right.
not
To
pick?
me, it's a no-brainer.
So when you were a player, would you have enjoyed that? Would you think you would have liked to have the cameras infiltrate your training camp?
It wouldn't bother me. I don't think I would ever be annoyed by it. I'm sure there'd be moments where I'd get in the meeting room after a long day and be like, oh my gosh, this fucking camera guy wants to mic me up. Like, off, dude. Like, I'm sick of you. Would there be moments like that? Definitely.
But I don't got to be careful too, because you can't, as in the locker room, you can't be almost too eager to be that guy, right? I don't know if it's the same way. I know in baseball certainly that is. You can't be the guy that's too eager to be in front of the camera.
Yeah, you can't be too thirsty for the attention.
Right.
Yeah, you're a little too thirsty for the attention. You're gonna get called out for sure. You don't want to be the guy, we've seen. You don't want to be the guy. Who was that? Like Chris Hogan when he was with the Miami Dolphins, and who am I missing? It was playing the guitar back in the day and singing songs. It was so embarrassing. So don't be that guy.
We get ramped it up too much, but it is good. I mean, it's good for you and your brand to be part of it and in a positive light. It's normally very positive too.
It is usually very positive.
I mean, that's what they have to do, or else they just wouldn't ever get to do it anymore. Very positive, and so I think you're right. Over Washington in Case Keenum.
Yep.
Even though they got Josh Norman, Landon Collins now over there in Washington, Dan Snyder's always kind of an interesting character.
Yep. No, the Redskins got potential. They do. They're one of those teams, really the last 2 years are going to skew a lot of our thoughts. And the only thing I would say to people, and I understand the proof's in the pudding ultimately at the end of the day, but go back and look at the injuries the last 2 years the Washington Redskins have. They've been ravaged. I mean, the amount of, I think they had to use 20-something different offensive line combinations last year to make it through the year. I mean, 20-something, that's unbelievable. The year before, it wasn't far behind that either. So they've had to deal with the injury bug. Hopefully they've fixed those type of things. I mean, here we are, Reuben Foster's already out for the year, so that stinks. But if they can stay healthy, I do think the guys we see on paper on their roster are pretty damn good, and I think they can be in that playoff conversation.
And perhaps Case Keenum, the number 28 quarterback on Chris Simms' top 40, could lead him to a playoff win.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.